Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm happy to have you here as always. Thank you for stopping by. I know that you've probably heard a lot about procrastination, which is the topic of today's video. But trust me when I say that if you stay to the end, you will definitely learn one or two crucial things that you can add to your everyday living. This channel is about self-development, Christian living, vlogs, and etc. So let's get right into the video of today. Now, what is the meaning of procrastination? Procrastination is the act of delaying a task until the last minute or past the deadline. It's your inability to regulate yourself to do things at a certain point or to do things at the right time, knowing fully well that when you put these tasks away, when you don't do it, when you procrastinate, it will lead to negative consequences. Right. And it shows that one lacks discipline. And truth be told is that we know that if we do not have the discipline to do certain things, then we are not going to go far in life. That is why procrastination is very, 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 very bad. So now we're going to jump into some of the causes of procrastination and how to tackle some of these things as they come. The first one is that when you believe that you work well under pressure, and that's because that last minute your brain is pumping, the pressure is there, and you feel like that's when you think better, that's when you do things better. But the truth is that if you continue at that pace consistently, at the end of the day, it's going to affect your health, your mental health, and your health overall. Some things are just too much for this our brain to carry. You do it once, that's fine. Maybe another few weeks or months, and that happens again. But when you consistently do this almost every day, almost every week, there's something you're procrastinating, there's something you're delaying, there's a task you've not done. At the end of the day, it's going to affect your mental health and your health as a whole. You lack the initiative to get started on a task. Now, and I know it's different that you're probably new in a workplace and you're still trying to learn how things go. So you have a line manager or supervisor that you always go to. How can I get this done? How can I do this? How can I do that? That's fine. But the truth is, at some point, you have to take initiative and do the things that you are supposed to do, right? And this thing with taking initiative is probably you don't have the confidence or probably you don't want to make a mistake. But the truth is, if you don't make mistakes, you will not learn. So that is why you have to take that initiative and be ready to make mistakes. That's how people grow. Mistakes are not supposed to keep you down in the box or you dwell on the past. Oh, I made a mistake and that. It's going to teach you what you are supposed to, what you did wrong, and then how to do it even better. And then try to grow your self-confidence. Talk to yourself, tell yourself that I can do this, I can get this done. Because how long are you going to keep asking someone, your supervisor, how long? Like, yes, we know it's good to ask questions so that we don't make unnecessary mistakes, but what if they are not there? What if you can't reach out to them? So that's why when you get into a place, be up and doing, learn all the things you need to learn, do all the things you need to do to get yourself acquainted with the work or the stuff that you're supposed to do, so that when you don't have people around you, you can still get your shit together, you can still get things done, right? The next one is when you think that your brain works better at the last minute. It's almost the same thing with the first thing I said. What I want to say about this is that I have had to do the whole last minute rush thing in so many situations in the past. And trust me that the outcome is not as great, as wonderful as it will be if you had taken your time to actually do that task, to do that thing. The next one is fast gratification or self gratification that we get. Probably there's a movie that just came out and then we have a task and you're like, oh, let me just watch this movie. Before you know it, you've spent the last 2-3 hours watching a movie and you're smiling, you're excited. It's a thriller, it's making you happy, or there's a lot of humor in it, whatever. But the thing is that you are happy in the moment. But what about the tasks that you're putting aside? What about the things that you're supposed to do? It could be to call a friend. It could be to call your family members and you keep procrastinating. Oh, I'll call them next week, or I'll call them next week. Or you're just supposed to do something that you're supposed to do. And then this leads to, like, sometimes you lose people, you're bad at your tasks, the outcome of these things, and maybe even checking up on your health. You're supposed to go to the hospital and check if there's something wrong with you, or just do the routine checkup that you could, pick up on some of the things that are happening to you that you probably are not aware of, but the symptoms have been there, and you don't get to know these things early until it is bad. So procrastinating and putting things away, it's really not good for your like life as a whole. It affects every aspect of your life, your mental health, life with family, with friends, and then your productivity. The next one, not knowing what needs to be done or not knowing how it needs to be done. Ask questions. That's all I can say about this point. If you don't know what you're supposed to do, if you don't know how you're supposed to go about it, and instead of you just procrastinating or keeping it aside, ask questions. Call a friend, ask your supervisor if it's work, call a family member, ask somebody, call someone. There's always someone you can call, and trust me, that person will help you out no matter how little. That could be a starting point for you. Sometimes that stuff we want to do is already in our head, but we are just scared, so we need someone to kickstart us, and once the person does that, we're good to go. The next one is when you're feeling overwhelmed and then you start thinking, or when there's a rush of information into your brain when you're doing a task and then your brain freezes. This happens to me all the time. When there's a rush of information or things, taxes, or there's a lot on my table, a lot on the to-do list for one day, and I'm trying to get it done, and things just keep popping up here and here. Oh, drop this one aside, jump into this one, do this, do that. The only way my brain helps me to function better is when it just stops working. It freezes, and it just freezes, and then I forget what I'm supposed to do. And over time, I've learned that once that happens to me, I just take a break, just close my eyes, breathe in, breathe out, try not to think about. In fact, I can't even remember what I'm supposed to do in the moment. It's so crazy how that thing happens. And then when I'm calm, in less than 5 minutes, I start remembering the things I'm supposed to do that I was actually even doing in the moment. It's crazy, but it happens. And then my brain just forgetting these things in the moment, or just freezing, and I have to stop. It's just trying to make me to calm down. So when it happens, instead of you procrastinating or just keeping the task aside for like the whole day or the next day, just calm down. Don't think too much about it. In another 5 minutes, less than that, you will get back to what you're supposed to do, and you will definitely finish it. Don't be too quick to leave your taxes when you're feeling overwhelmed. Don't be too quick. 5 minutes is enough. Maybe you take a break, go and eat something, come back to it. Don't eat and forget it. Come back to it. It is okay to feel overwhelmed. What you do after that is what determines the kind of person you are, how responsible you are, and the fact that you want to take charge of your life and be a better person. Now, the next one is forgetting to do the tasks. That one is easy. Just set an alarm when you are given things to do, or when you're supposed to do anything at all. Go to the hospital, check on your car. Maybe while you're supposed to take it to the mechanic, or check the oil, or do whatever it is. You're supposed to call a friend, a family member, whatever. Set an alarm. Put it on your calendar so that you will get reminded. I think maybe I should do a video on how to like how to actually put taxes on your calendar. And then if you're one that reads your email, like these emails, like you get emails reminding you, okay, this is when you're supposed to do something. You set an email for like 4 days before the day, 3 days before the day. It helps. Same thing with setting an alarm in your phone. It is straightforward, and it actually help you remember. You can set an alarm for every Thursday you're supposed to do something, every Wednesday, every Friday, or every day at this particular time you're supposed to do something. When I decided to like start praying every day at a particular time, I had to set an alarm. And before my spirit now, it still needs the alarm, truth be told. I still need the alarm, not my spirit. But the fact that when it's getting to that time, I just know when it's getting to that time, even before my alarm rings. That's what the Spirit does for you. But before you get in tune, right, you have to set an alarm to remind yourself to do important tasks. So there's no excuse of, oh, I forgot. Don't forget to set your alarm. As you're saying it, set the alarm ASAP. Trust me, this setting alarm, I've been doing it for years now. I have so much, and it has saved me from a lot of things. Like sometimes when it just rings, I'm like, oh my God, that's true. And then I'm like, oh, thank God, because if I did not set that alarm, I would have forgotten. So, yes, the God factor, if I don't add it, then this video is not complete. So, one thing I know is that God does not function well with people who procrastinate. Or rather, let me say that if you are in your journey to get to know God more, to work in God's will, if you procrastinate, then that journey will be cut short. In my last video, I talked about, working in God's will, getting to know God more, having a personal relationship with God. And then when I was like trying to put this video on procrastination together, I realized that procrastination would make you lose out a chance to walk with God. Trust me when I say that there are some things that you are doing in the moment, and the Holy Spirit reminds you to do something else, or reminds you to do something, or maybe pray, or maybe call this person, or maybe do this thing, and then you don't listen. Before you know it, that voice becomes even more lower and lower and lower. Before you know it, the noise, the excuses you give yourself about not doing that thing when you are asked to do it becomes louder, and you stop listening to the voice of God. Actually, God never actually stops talking to us. But the thing is that we stop hearing that voice, that gentle and silent voice. We stop hearing it because the noise has become so loud, so loud that we are no longer hearing God's voice. Meanwhile, He's actually always there. The excuses you've given yourself on not being able to do that task, and before you know it, weeks have gone, months have gone, and your relationship with God is no longer what it used to be. I've been in that situation whereby weeks have passed, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. The Holy Spirit is nudging me, oh, make this video, drop this content, post this, and I'm not doing it. I'm giving excuses. Before you know it, the only thing my head is filled with is excuses. That's all it was filled with, until a certain point, if I pray, I say, oh God, I don't want to procrastinate anymore. I want to do your will. I'll just be reminded of so many times I've made this prayer and all the things I'm supposed to do, I'm not doing. So it's like the ball is in your court. It just depends on how you want to play it. And then one day I was supposed to sleep, the last video, and then I was just, praying, I was worshiping, and then I was listening to a song, and then my spirit just said, supposed to do this video now. I was so tired. So tired. I was supposed to be sleeping. But I had to do that video. And the truth is, since I listened and did that video, my spirit has been so active in doing certain things, in listening more, in following the guidance of the Holy Spirit. I am so grateful for that. I am so grateful for that. So trust me, procrastination will take you far away from God. So if you want to be close to God, work in His will, do what He wants, then you are not supposed to be a procrastinator. Do you hear me?